don't care just as long as your business is safe.
How can you say things like
go
that?
away. Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me.
Darling, listen to me. I didn't mean to.
Oh.
Look, we'll talk it all over again as soon as...
Oh.
Leona. Wilson! Wilson, quick, call a doctor!
Sally Hunt. I took Henry away from her. She couldn't stand it. Even after all these years, she couldn't stand it. Going to him today, seeing him in his office. Hello?
Leona, this is Sally again. I'm sorry I had to be so mysterious before, but I just couldn't talk at home. My husband was there.
Well, this is all certainly rather odd, to say the least.
Oh, this whole thing must seem very peculiar to you, Leona. Hearing from me after all these years. But I had to see Henry again today. I've been so worried about him. Worried? About what? Well, my husband, he's with the district attorney's office. And a couple of weeks ago...
Something funny, Sally. You're in the newspaper about an old boyfriend of yours.
Old boyfriend?
Yeah. Remember Henry Stevenson?
Oh.
Pictures in the paper. Mr. and Mrs. Henry Stevenson, she's the former Leona Cotterill of Lake Forest, Illinois, have taken a house for the summer in Sutton Place. Mrs. Stevenson, in poor health for several years, is here to consult with specialists. Mr. Stevenson is vice president of the Cotterill Drug Corporation.
Are you tearing it out for me?
Oh, no. No, it may come in handy in a case I'm working on.
What sort of a case?
Oh, special investigation. Joe's on it with me.
Henry hasn't done anything wrong, has he?
Sorry, honey. One too many questions. Eh? Don't tell me you're still stuck on that guy.
Oh, don't be silly, darling.
Hello. Anything happened, Joe? And Stevenson fell for it, huh? Oh, sure, we'll go. Look, tell Bolger to line it up. No, 5,000's enough, and $100 bills, and make sure they're marked. And for Pete's sake, keep your mouth shut. Thursday, huh? Okay, 10 o'clock.
I'm sorry if it seems involved, Leona.
Involved? I simply don't know what you're trying to tell me.
Well, wait till I finish. I know I didn't have any right to do it. But that Thursday, I went to Southbury. I don't know what I expected to see, but... Well, anyway, I spotted Fred and his friend Joe from the police. There was another man with them. I guess the one who was to bring the $5,000 in marked bills. Well, I followed them.
Followed them where?
Aboard the ferry and over to Staten Island. They went far out to a very desolated stretch of beach. Nothing but a few broken-down shacks and an old deserted house. I had to stay way behind them so they wouldn't see me. But then they went in the house. That gave me a chance to come closer. There was a freshly painted sign out front. 20 Dunstan Terrace, it said. And the name Evans. W. Evans.
Evans?
Do you know him?
I've never heard of him. Well, what happened?
Well, after a while, a motorboat came into shore and tied up at a pier in back of the house. A man, sort of elderly, got out of the boat and went into the house. He was carrying a suitcase. A little later, my husband came out. Only now he had the suitcase. Well, he didn't come home until late that night, and I was dying to ask him what happened, what possible connection it could have with Henry.
Well?
I didn't dare ask him, Leona. But things have happened since, and unless we do something drastic, it may be too late.
Your 5 minutes are up. Please deposit 5 cents for the next 5 minutes.
Oh, just a minute, please. I know I have another nickel. Are you still there, Leona?
I'm here. This is one of the queerest things I've ever heard.
Yes, I know. And I just didn't seem to be able to connect Henry with it. That's why I finally went to see him today.
What did you find out?
Well, I met him for lunch. He told the captain he was expecting a very important phone call, and then we sat down.
It's been a long time, Sally. 8 years. Tell me, how's dear old Grassville these days?
I don't know, Henry. I haven't been back.
So you're married now, hmm? Living here in New York?
Yes. My husband's with the district attorney's office.
Oh?
That's why I wanted... Henry, what I'm trying to say is this. A few days ago, I saw a picture of you in the newspaper. Vice president now.
Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Biggest drug business in the country.
I was sorry to read that Leona isn't well.
Yes. Chicago doctors don't seem to know just what it is. Her trouble, I mean.
Henry, what do you do in the drug business?
Push buttons, like all other vice presidents.
Oh, but I'm serious.
So am I. I'm almost as important as the office boy.
Don't mean to be inquisitive. I only mean this for your own good.
Mean what for my own good?
Well, yesterday, my husband was making out a
We
report...
have your phone call, Mr. Stevens.
Oh, thanks. Excuse me, Sally. I'll be right back.
Well, I waited a while, Leona. But Henry didn't come back,
Please
and then
deposit 5 cents for the next 5 minutes.
Operator, but I haven't been talking 5 minutes. I deposited another nickel only a
I
couple
am sorry, madam. Please deposit another 5 cents.
But I haven't any more change.
Hello.
Leona, I'll have to call you back. But I only wanted to say that Henry never came back to the table and that he is in trouble.
Fred's been talking to the police. I've heard him mention Henry's name over and over again. And there's someone else in it, too. That man called Evans. Your 5 minutes are up, madam. Waldo Evans. He owns that house on Staten Island. I am sorry, madam. I will have to disconnect you.
Reverse the charges. Put them on this phone. Operator! Operator!
It's a moment or so later. Through an open window, the night air drifts slowly in Leona's window, heavy with the heat of a New York summer. Leona lies motionless on the bed, and the sounds of the night become magnified. The tugboats on the river, the hum of distant traffic, the muffled roar of a train passing over a bridge, and then suddenly...
Hello?
Leona, this is Sally again. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm calling from the subway station. The stores around here are all closed. I've just been home, Leona, and some more has happened. That house on Staten Island, the one I told you about, well, it was burned down this afternoon. The police had captured 3 men, but this Waldo Evans escaped.
But who is Waldo Evans? And for heaven's sake, what's his connection with my husband?
I still don't know, Leona, but I do know the whole thing had something to do with your father's company.
Oh, that's absurd. My father called me from Chicago this afternoon. He never mentioned a word. Now, look, who's been arrested and why?
3 men, and I don't know why.
And why do you think Henry's one of them?
I didn't say that. I only know that somehow he's terribly involved.
Did anyone say he was going to be arrested?
No, not exactly.
Then what are you talking about? Why are you calling me like this? Are you still jealous that I took Henry away from you? Can't you bear to see me happy? Can't you stop telling lies and making trouble even now?
Leona, I can't talk anymore.
Then I'm right. You are just trying to make trouble.
No. Fred and Joe, they're coming down the subway platform. If my husband should see me here... Leona, I've got to hang up.
Hello? Oh. Yes?
This is Western Union. We have a message for Mrs. Henry Stevenson.
This is Mrs. Stevenson.
The telegram is as follows. Darling, terribly sorry, but last minute remembered annual drug convention tomorrow in Boston. Taking next train out, back Sunday morning.
Oh.
Keep well. All my love. And signed, Henry. That is all, madam. Do you wish us to deliver a copy of the...
Oh. Oh, no.
Then I wait till the train goes over the bridge in case your window is open and she should scream. The fire says the coast is clear. I got your message, George. Everything okay for tonight?
Henry is in trouble. Desperate trouble.
Darling, terribly sorry. Taking next train out. Back Sunday morning. Then I wait till the train goes over the bridge. Then I wait till the train goes over the bridge.
Dr. Alexander? Doctor, this is Mrs. Stevenson.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Stevenson. How are you?
I need you right away, Doctor. Please come right over.
Now, Mrs. Stevenson, what seems to be the
I
matter?
said I want you to come over at once.
I'm afraid I can't tonight, Mrs. Stevenson. Now, be sensible. If you just make up your mind to cooperate with your husband and me in our plan of action...
Plan of action? What are you talking about?
Mrs. Stevenson, I explained everything in my letter over a week ago.
Letter? What letter?
But surely your husband... Hasn't he spoken to you, Mrs. Stevenson?
About what?
Look, you try to compose yourself now, and perhaps we can discuss it tomorrow.
We'll discuss it now. Do you hear me? Now, this very minute.
Well, if you insist upon knowing. Your husband called at my office about 10 days ago. He seemed quite concerned about your condition, naturally. Anyway, we discussed your illness at great length.
Still a puzzle to me, Doctor. I still don't know what's wrong with her.
Well, Mr. Stevenson, your wife's illness seems to date far back to her early childhood. Is that true?
Yes, I suppose so.
But you knew nothing about it when you married her?
No, not till after a couple of years. You see, we were living with her father then, in Lake Forest. I remember early one morning.
Why did you do that, Henry? Why did you send the maid for my handbag?
Why? Because there's something in it that I need.
Well, how much money do you want?
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Leona, but this time it isn't money. Simply that I wrote Ferguson's telephone number in your notebook last night. And I want to call him. We have a date for lunch.
You know perfectly well you're having lunch with me today.
I know, Leona, but I won't be able to make it. This date with Ferguson's rather important.
Oh? More important than me, I suppose?
Oh, isn't that, Leona? It's just that... Well, it's about a job.
You have a job. What on earth are you talking about?
Leona, I've been meaning to say this to you for weeks. I just don't belong in your father's business.
Who says you don't?
I do. I say it. Working for your father is like
Like running in a dream. No matter how hard you try, you know you'll never get anywhere. I don't want to graft off your charity for the rest of my life. I want a chance on my own.
Only you're not getting the chance. I won't have you traipsing around, you hear? Just because Dad doesn't go falling all over himself, you're not going to throw away $1 million business like Cotterell's for an idle whim. It happens to be my business, too, you know. And to think my own husband turns up his nose at it. Now call Ferguson and tell him you've changed your mind. Go on, Henry, call him.
But I haven't changed my mind.
You're still going?
Yes. And someday you'll see it'll be better for both of us.
Henry! Henry, wait!
Now, that's a little silly, isn't it? Locking the door?
You're not going, Henry. Not as long as you're my husband.
Oh, come on, Leona. Give me that
You
key.
can't do it. You can't do this to me. Nobody's ever done it. Nobody.
Will you please stop and give me that
Henry,
key?
please. If you love me at all. Henry, I beg you. I'll talk to Dad. I'll do anything. Anything you want, only don't leave me. Don't go away.
Give me that key.
No, I won't. Oh.